You feel it, don't you? That slow creeping theft of energy. The knees are tighter than they were last year. The stairs feel longer. You assume this is just getting older. You look at the prescription bottles on your counter and think this is the cost of staying alive. I'm telling you now, as a physician who has spent the last decade deep in functional medicine and fitness programming, that is a lie. Your vitality is not gone. It's trapped. It is smothered by chronic low-level inflammation, poor fuel management, and muscles that have been allowed to wither simply because you haven't given them the right signals. This isn't just about feeling tired. This is about your core metabolic engine, your mitochondria, being choked. Your body has forgotten how to burn its stored fat reserves for clean, sustained energy, leaving you dependent on sugar crashes and caffeine jolts. We must restore metabolic flexibility. We are not going to talk about expensive pills or extreme diets. We are going to talk about flipping the switch on your metabolism right now. We are going to reclaim your energy, reverse the decline, and give you the mobility you had 10 years ago. Not through a marathon, but through short, sharp, precise changes in your kitchen and in your living room. Changes that are so simple, they feel like cheating. Look, I've seen thousands of charts. The problem isn't age itself. The problem is the cascade effect of standard American habits after 50. Inflammation drives glucose spikes. Glucose spikes ruin sleep. Poor sleep accelerates sarcopenia, the loss of functional muscle mass, and sarcopenia is the single biggest predictor of frailty, falls, and early dependence. We break that cycle today. We start by fixing what you put in your mouth first thing in the morning. The great energy robbery. Stop stealing your own legs. Most people over 60 sabotage their health before 9 a.m. They wake up already dehydrated and immediately inject jet fuel, sugar, and inflammatory oils into their system, demanding immediate energy. This causes a massive glucose surge, followed by the inevitable crash, which you call afternoon slump. You think you need a nap or more coffee. What you actually need is to stop poisoning the energy well and, crucially, to teach your body to become metabolically flexible, to easily switch from burning sugar to burning fat. Forget the traditional breakfast, the bowl of cereal, the toast with jelly, the bagel, or even that seemingly innocent sugary coffee. These are pure carbohydrates, processed into glue that thickens your blood, inflames your joints, and forces your body into fat storage mode. They spike insulin, and insulin resistance is the precursor to everything we are trying to avoid: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and arthritis. We need to build a breakfast that strengthens your legs in 24 hours. Seriously, this is not hyperbole. When you feed your body protein first, you instantly activate muscle protein synthesis, MPS. You turn off the glucose craving cycle. You stabilize your energy for the entire day. The swap: protein first, always. Forget that single slice of white toast or English muffin. Forget the low-fat yogurt loaded with cane sugar. Your mission is to hit 30 to 40 grams of high-quality protein in the first meal of the day. This intake is critical because it activates the leucine threshold, the specific amount of the amino acid leucine, usually 2.5 grams or more, needed to optimally signal your muscles to grow and repair. If you only eat 15 grams of protein, you don't hit the threshold, and your muscle building is suboptimal, regardless of how much you eat later. Want to know the simplest way? Here are 7 cheap high-protein foods that should be the cornerstone of your morning routine. 1. Eggs, whole, not just whites. They are the perfect source of leucine and choline for brain health. 2. Cottage cheese, full-fat cultured, a massive protein punch for few calories, great source of casein for slow release. 3. Greek yogurt, plain, full-fat, add berries for fiber, not sugar. Read the label, aim for 20 g+ protein per serving. 4. Canned sardines or mackerel, I know, but trust the physician. Omega-3s plus high protein, a brain and joint superpower you cannot ignore. 5. Whey or pea protein powder. Use it as a safety net in a smoothie if you are rushing, ensuring it's low sugar. 6. Ground beef or turkey, leftovers from dinner. A savory, warm breakfast is metabolic gold and incredibly satisfying. 7. Lentils or beans, cooked into a savory hash or added to scrambled eggs for a fiber boost. And while we are talking about protein, let's address a huge myth I see everywhere. Forget bone broth for muscle building. I know, it's trendy, it's popular for collagen, but bone broth is weak on actual complete protein and even weaker on the amino acid profile needed for muscle building. It's mostly water and glycine. If you want strong legs and a strong back, you need leucine and isoleucine, the full spectrum of essential amino acids. You get that from real dense food, especially those 7 items above. Drink water for hydration, eat the cottage cheese for actual muscle repair. The invisible enemy, the 4 worst hidden inflammatories. Inflammation is not something you feel until it manifests as pain, stiffness, or disease. It's a low burn, like a leaky faucet in your body, slowly eroding your joints and choking your mitochondria, your cell batteries. After 60, we have to be hyper-vigilant about avoiding inflammatory triggers. 1. The worst bread. Any bread labeled multi-grain or wheat that is still white or light brown is likely processed flour with added gluten and zero beneficial fiber. It's a glucose rocket and a gut irritant. Look for 100% stone-ground rye bread or true sourdough that has been fermented long enough to break down the inflammatory components and phytic acid. Otherwise, ditch it entirely. The trade-off is not worth the temporary satisfaction. 2. The worst coffee additives. You might be avoiding sugar, but are you using healthy creamers? Seriously, most non-dairy creamers, like soybean or cheap almond oat milk varieties, are packed with highly inflammatory vegetable oils, like rapeseed or sunflower oil, and chemical emulsifiers that wreck your gut lining and feed systemic inflammation. Add this to coffee instead. A splash of heavy whipping cream, grass-fed if possible, or a teaspoon of MCT oil. This healthy fat slows caffeine absorption, prevents the jitters, and gives your brain high-quality ketone fuel rather than setting your body on fire with cheap processed oils. 3. The worst oils. We must eliminate seed oils. Canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, and generic vegetable oil are chemically stripped, highly oxidized, and massively high in omega-6 fats, which directly fuel systemic inflammation. The standard American diet has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 20.1 when the optimal anti-inflammatory ratio is closer to 4.1 or lower. We are biologically designed for the latter, not the former. This is Kurt surgeon approved advice. We know these oils impair healing and increase chronic disease risk. Swap them for extra virgin olive oil, uncooked or low heat, avocado oil, high heat, or animal fats like butter or ghee, if tolerated. Fow. The worst cheeses, highly processed. Any pre-sliced, individually wrapped, or highly processed cheese, like cheese food product or most generic grated Parmesan, contains stabilizers, colorants, and poor quality dairy protein. These irritate the gut and increase inflammation pathways. Stick to high-quality, aged, full-fat cheeses, Parmesan Reggiano, Gouda, aged cheddar, in moderation. They offer better nutrition, fewer fillers, and actually taste better, so you need less. Brachjursfree. The night shift, repairing your brain and eyes while you sleep. If you want strong legs and a clear mind, you need deep, restorative sleep. The vast majority of people over 60 have fragmented sleep because their blood sugar is crashing at 2 a.m., driving cortisol release, or because of poor sleep hygiene and a dysregulated circadian rhythm. Let's talk about late caffeine consumption. The standard half-life of caffeine is about 5 hours. If you have your last cup of coffee at 3 p.m., half that caffeine is still buzzing in your system at 8 p.m., blocking the sleep hormone melatonin. For better, deeper sleep, do not drink any caffeine after 1 p.m. If you need a warm beverage in the afternoon, switch to herbal tea, rooibos or peppermint. Now, let's look at light. Your brain uses light cues to regulate sleep. Morning light. Get 2 minutes of natural light, no sunglasses, within 30 minutes of waking up. This immediately halts melatonin production and signals your body that the day has begun, locking in your sleep-wake cycle. Evening light. Minimize blue light exposure. phones, tablets, bright TVs for 2 hours before bed, as blue light delays melatonin release. Use blue light blocking glasses or dim the lights. Finally, temperature control is key. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to initiate deep sleep. Aim for a bedroom temperature between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This small adjustment is often the missing link for fragmented sleep. Now, let's leverage the nighttime recovery window to target vision and memory. We can use fruit before bed to repair your eyes. Seriously, this is targeted nutrient delivery. The retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of your eye, is highly dependent on specific antioxidants, mainly lutein and zeaxanthin. Most fruit before bed is a sugar mistake, but not this one. About 30 minutes before sleep, have a small handful, quarter cup, of wild blueberries or a tiny portion of dried apricots. These are packed with the specific nutrients needed for retinal health and fighting oxidative stress. If you are worried about cataracts, eat this daily. A quarter cup of raw, unsalted walnuts or a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. These are rich in zinc and vitamin E, crucial for maintaining eye structure and fighting the oxidative stress that leads to cataract formation. Foundational supplements for longevity. After 60, while the focus remains on food, certain micronutrient deficiencies are pervasive after 60 due to reduced absorption, stomach acid decline, or environmental factors. Addressing these can instantly boost energy, bone density, and mood. Magnesium. This is nature's relaxant, involved in over 300 enzymatic processes, including muscle contraction, nerve function, and sleep regulation. Low levels contribute to leg cramps, restless sleep, and anxiety. Aim for 300-400 mg daily of high absorption forms like magnesium glycinate for sleep relaxation or threonate for cognitive benefits. 2. Vitamin D3, the sunshine hormone. Critical for immune function, mood, and bone density. As we age, our skin synthesizes D3 less efficiently, and many stay indoors. Deficiency is epidemic. Most people over 60 need 2 to 5 IU daily, often paired with vitamin K2, menaquinone 7, to ensure calcium goes into the bones, not the arteries. Get your levels tested annually. 3. Vitamin B12. Essential for nerve health, DNA synthesis, and preventing certain types of anemia. Stomach acid naturally declines with age, and B12 absorption relies heavily on stomach acid, intrinsic factor. If you are vegetarian, vegan, or taking acid-blocking medications, e.g. PPIs, supplementation is mandatory, often requiring a sublingual form for direct absorption. Storage secrets and medical responsibility. Before we move to movement, let's quickly address 2 high-impact areas where mistakes are common: how you store your food and how you manage medications. Do not refrigerate these 9 foods if you want maximum nutrition, flavor, and functionality. 1. Tomatoes. Cold. Destroys their texture and dulls their flavor. They lose key antioxidants faster in the fridge. Keep them on the counter. 2. Potatoes are sweet potatoes. Cold converts the starch to sugar faster and makes them gritty. Store in a cool, dark pantry. 3. Onions. Refrigeration makes them moldy and soft quickly. Store in a dry, ventilated basket. 4. Garlic. Same as onions. Refrigeration causes sprouting and mold. 5. Avocados, uncut. They need counter-ripening. Only refrigerate if they are perfectly ripe, and you need to extend their life for a day or 2. 6. Bread. Refrigeration causes the starches to crystallize rapidly, staling. If you must store it long-term, freeze it. Otherwise, keep it sealed at room temperature. 7. Honey. It will crystallize and harden, making it unusable. Room temperature is best. 8. Coffee beans grounds. The moisture and temperature fluctuations in the fridge ruin the flavor and destroy the essential oils. Store in an opaque, airtight container in a cool, dark cupboard. 9. Olive oil. Cold temperatures cause cloudiness and change the flavor profile. Store away from heat and light. Now, a serious note from one medical professional to you. When seeking longevity, we must discuss common pitfalls. Many people over 60 are on polypharmacy, multiple medications. While necessary for many conditions, some common drugs can negatively impact cognitive health by interfering with neurotransmitters. We know that certain classes of medications, including some over-the-counter sleep aids, allergy pills, antihistamines, and even some stomach acid blockers, have been linked in observational studies to increased risk factors for confusion or even accelerate issues that mimic dementia. This often involves anticholinergic effects, blocking the critical neurotransmitter acetylcholine. I cannot advise you to stop any medication, but I urge you to proactively schedule a review with your physician or pharmacist. Ask them a single critical question. Are any of my current medications known to have anticholinergic effects or cognitive side effects, and are there alternatives that do not carry this risk profile? Taking control of this information is vital for protecting your brain long-term. Be your own best advocate. The 10-minute anti-frailty protocol. We've swapped the fuel. Now we use the fuel to rebuild the machine. Sarcopenia, that loss of functional muscle mass, is reversible. You don't need a gym membership or complicated machines. You need consistency and tension. This is a simple, surgeon-approved 10-minute isometric routine. Isometrics are fantastic after 60 because they generate massive muscle tension, strength, without putting unnecessary strain or shearing force on the joints, knees, hips, shoulders. You stabilize the joint while strengthening the surrounding muscles. Do this protocol 3 times a week. It requires a wall, a chair, and 10 minutes. Warm-up, 2 minutes. 1. Ankle circles. 30 seconds per direction per foot. Sit down. Rotate your ankles slowly and deliberately, focusing on the full range of motion. This lubricates the ankle joint and wakes up your lower limb stabilizers, crucial for fall prevention. 2. Seated marching, 60 seconds. While sitting tall, slowly lift one knee toward your chest, hold for 1 count, and lower. Alternate legs focusing on engaging the deep core and the hip flexors. Do not use momentum. The anti-frailty 10-minute isometric protocol. Time 1. The wall sit. Target, quads, glutes, endurance. Technique. Stand with your back flat against a sturdy wall. Walk your feet out about 2 feet from the wall. Slide down until your hips and knees are at a 90-degree angle, or as close as is comfortable without pain. Ensure your knees are directly over your ankles, not tracking inward. Execution. Push your entire back flat against the wall. Engage your core tightly. Feel the deep burn in your thighs. This rebuilds the largest muscles in your body. Hold for 30 seconds, or as long as possible, aiming for 60 seconds. Rest. Stand up and shake your legs out for 30 seconds. Repeat. Perform 2 sets. 2. The seated quad extension. Target knee stability. Technique. Sit tall on a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor. Lift your right foot off the floor and slowly straighten your knee completely, pointing your toes toward the ceiling. Execution. Once fully extended, flex your thigh muscle, quadriceps, as hard as you can. Imagine pushing your kneecap up into your hip. Hold this maximum focused contraction. Hold. Hold the maximal tension for 10 seconds. Rest. Slowly lower the leg over 5 seconds. This controlled negative phase is crucial for building strength. Repeat. 3 repetitions per leg. 3. The plank progression. Target, core, back health, shoulder stability. Technique, modified. Start on your hands and knees. Walk your hands forward slightly. Now, lift your knees and rest on your elbows and knees, keeping your back perfectly flat, like a table. This is the modified plank, an excellent starting point. Progression, full. If you are able, extend your legs back and rest on your elbows and toes. Execution. The key is the squeeze. Tuck your pelvis slightly, squeeze your glutes, and pull your belly button toward your spine. Your goal is a perfectly straight, stable line from your head to your knees, heels. Hold. Hold for 30 seconds. Listen to your body. Stop immediately with any sharp low back pain. Rest. 30 seconds rest. Repeat. Perform 2 sets. Lot for 4. The doorway chest press. Target, posture, upper body strength. Technique. Stand in a doorway. Place your hands flat on the doorframe, shoulder width apart, elbows bent slightly. Execution. Push outward into the doorway with 70% of your maximum strength. Hold the tension. Engage your chest muscles and triceps. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. This movement directly strengthens the muscles responsible for keeping your spine upright, countering the forward slump common with age and improving respiratory function. Hold. Hold the maximum tension for 20 seconds. Rest, 20 seconds. Repeat. Perform 3 sets. Safety message. Essential. Always listen to your body. Stop immediately if you feel sharp or unusual pain. Adapt these movements to your current level of mobility and strength. If you have any pre-existing medical conditions, are taking medications, or have had recent surgery, consult your physician before starting any new exercise routine. Consistency at 50% effort beats pushing to 100% and getting injured. Darpers, reclaiming your independence. We started by identifying the thieves: refined carbohydrates, cheap seed oils, lack of targeted protein, and the misconception that age requires decline. We replaced them with targeted protein for muscle threshold activation, healthy fats for brain fuel, and precise nutrition for your eyes and metabolism. We added 10 minutes of low-impact, high-tension movement to rebuild your foundational strength and restore your structural integrity. This is how you age with strength, clarity, and independence. You are not destined for the wheelchair, the walker, or the medication carousel. You are destined for vitality, but you must choose it daily, starting with what you eat and how you move. Here is your challenge for the next 24 hours. Your nutrition mission. Immediately swap out your typical breakfast: toast, cereal, sugary yogurt, for 30 grams of protein. 2 large eggs and a half cup of full-fat cottage cheese is a perfect start. This resets your glucose curve and hits your leucine threshold today. Your movement mission. Complete the 10-minute isometric anti-frailty protocol once today. Focus specifically on the wall sit and the plank progression. That's it. 1 food swap, 10 minutes of movement. Tell me, what is the first change you are making today? Your independence starts now.